On this week's episode of the 365 Message Center Show, we're going to talk about forwarding messages in Microsoft Teams chat. How about preserving meetings that we've declined, preserving them in our calendar? That's an interesting topic, and we'll dive into that. And then also private team discovery. So those private teams you have hidden away, will they be discoverable? Find out in episode 308. Roll it. Yes, this is episode 308, Daryl. Western Nebraska. That's what I call this episode. Western Nebraska.
Is that like a highway or somewhere in Nebraska? Is that why?
It is the area code. 308 is an area code in western Nebraska. So for everyone, you want to call somebody in Nebraska, use 308 and then add a bunch of digits afterward, and you probably get somebody.
So if I get a prank call from western Nebraska, I know, that's where it's from.
Absolutely. How are you, Daryl?
Is your fridge running? Oh, I'm great, and my fridge is great too.
Fantastic.
It's running. Yeah.
Spanking-tastic.
It's good. It's another week. It's an opportunity to look at new tech, talk about new tech.
That's right. Bring some value.
Learn with people. Bring some value.
We've already brought value.
Tech.
We've already brought the value. Well, everyone knows 308 is now, it is a Nebraska area code. And for that, people, why don't you go ahead and hit the thumbs up here in YouTube, and if you're on the audio podcast, give us a 5-star rating. And everyone, we'd love to see your comments down below. If we cover a message today you would like to learn more about or discuss in the community, drop a comment down below. Or, Daryl, how else can they connect with us?
You can send an email to Daniel at...
No, you can't do that.
Well, I saw you jump on Threads, so maybe that's a platform that's starting to matter to you.
Nope, It is not. So,
it's not.
Although the 365 MCS is on Threads, just because it's connected to Insta and a button was clicked. I mean, that's how Threads grew anyway.
Well done. Yep.
There you go.
You increased its subscription. How else? Well, we've got socials, we've got comments, we've got... giving us a call.
Carrier pigeon. So,
carrier pigeon.
Whatever you'd like to do, make sure you connect with us. We'd like to have a conversation. In fact, we had a conversation on 2 of the messages we're going to cover this week on socials this week. So, would love to talk to you about it. In fact, if you're okay, Daryl, why don't we just go ahead and jump into our first message? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay. I'm completely okay with that. Yes, I want more visibility of what we're going to talk about. Okay, well, how about a 3x3? Very, very loose.
How about nine things you can see? I don't know. I'm going to stop now and actually cover the message. Microsoft Teams automatically view up to 9 videos, 3x3, in Teams meetings in Chrome and Edge, MC684869. Why is Daryl laughing? I have no idea.
Oh no! I just every time you say something like explanation and then in brackets 3x3, I mean that is the message, right? But
it is.
There are people that post that way,
Every time I look at that stuff, and it says 3x3 or what, I'm like, yes, that's math. 3 times 3 is 9. Thank you very much. Anyway. So this is bringing to the browser. If you're in Teams in the browser, you're able to experience a little more video, a little more, seeing more participants in that videos. So you're going to be able to see, currently you have that 2x2, you get to see 4 people, but now you're going to get to see 9 if you're using Chrome or Edge to join that Teams meeting. I think this is great. I actually attend quite a few meetings in the browser, Daryl. And it's also great for those people, maybe you're using the new Teams in your desktop version and you need to switch back to Classic for something, I don't know. Well, you can do that in the browser, right? And
Yeah.
when you're in the browser, you can join a meeting, and I like this. I really do. Being able to get that, be able to see those 9 people. I don't know. You might not want to see all those 9 people, but you get to anyway. So targeted release, it's rolling out early December. Going to be completed targeted release mid-December because they're quick about it. Standard release mid-January, completed by late January. So you'll just automatically see it. There's nothing really you need to do, but you'll automatically see it. So good. We like parity.
Some
we
wonderings
like
about this, Daniel.
Right? Okay, wonderings.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, wonderings. And I know that this increase means that there is extra video streams that have to be presented in separate fashion. So it's not a small feat to deliver this as a web browser client. And we've been able to do, was it 4x4, 7x7 or something like that for desktop for some time, because it's a dedicated app to do that. Mm-hmm. But to deliver it into a web experience, it's also about making good use of those resources. And
Absolutely.
I just wonder if to present more people's video streams, does that mean that the stream reduces in quality?
Because
there is that. You know, we see Teams meetings are usually 16 frames per second, not like your 24, so it's already delivering less. And then unless you're using something like when you highlight someone, spotlight them,
right.
Your quality can dip down to like 200 and something p.
Right. Or you're sharing on the desktop. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. You know what, though? You could, to find out what those resolutions are, you could actually probably ask Copilot. Where could you kind of start asking Copilot that question? Yeah.
Well, good thing to ask. If you are using Microsoft Edge as a browser, then you may have been getting accustomed to seeing a Bing logo in a speech bubble up in the top right-hand corner. And I know sometimes when I hover over it, boop, there it is. It's a bit like the new "Can I help you?" Clippy motion. But Bing Chat Sidebar experience in Edge has been renamed to Copilot in Edge with an updated icon. This is MC684526. And some of us started to notice this early, where the Bing logo disappeared. We had the Copilot logo there. And I guess it makes sense that it's all been named Copilot, but it just got a bit confusing when we're talking about there's experiences of Copilot that are going to be part of the product and some that you'll have to pay for, and all that kind of naming, etc., got a bit confusing. So all that's happened is in the Edge browser, the Bing chat bubble has been replaced by the Copilot icon, and so that's just a quick explanation to say that's what's happened. It's and what do you need to do to prepare? Is there anything extra here? There's a link through to Copilot in Edge. I think, Daniel, this is probably a good thing because we're going to get used to having Copilot as a sidebar anyway in various different experiences. So this is consistent with the rest of the Copilot experience.
Yeah, it is. And the whole, we can get into debate, which I don't think we should, but we can get into debate about whether icons matter. I think in this case, my personal opinion is it does matter a little bit because it used to be the Bing, logo, and now it's not. I don't like making those kind of changes for users when they get used to something being there. I will say it's kind of the same color, that was there before, and so maybe it's not that big of a deal, and I'm okay with this. But go around changing a bunch of logos in familiar places though, and I think it could have an effect. But honestly, I don't think it was there long enough for people to to go, wait, where is that Bing? I'm totally confused now. They're going to go to the same place, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
One thing that, as a discussion in the community, that maybe it will help us to simplify what seems to be a complex problem. Like it looks like we've got 200 Copilots everywhere. But I think what a number of us are settling into here, and hopefully as the audience you'll agree with us, that while Copilot is a big focus for Microsoft right now, and it is something that you will be able to purchase and add to things to get this AI experience, we're trying to think of it more as it is a superpower kind of feature inside the product that is using it. So go to Outlook, you'll use Outlook, and if you've got Copilot, it's just going to be a feature that's there. It doesn't have to feel like it's one of the 200 Copilots out there. I think of it more as it's Outlook with Copilot, and Copilot is its thing. Yeah,
indeed, absolutely.
Daniel, moving on to the next one. I can't think of a good segue. Just I'll forward this one to you and let you deal with it.
Fantastic. Microsoft Teams forward messages and Teams chats. MC684532. This is an interesting one. Let me get the complaint out of the way, okay? Outside of the first screenshot in this message, the rest of them are junk. They're low quality, very just not useful at all. In some of them, you can't even read what it's doing there. So that's my negative on this one. But I think this is one thing that I have been missing and have noticed many times. It's when you're having a chat with someone, then I'd like to forward that message to someone else. Now, maybe that's something that I'm having a one-on-one chat with you and we have a thread somewhere else, or, a one-to-many chat, right, where with other people, and I'm like, wait, here's a comment, let's change it and move it over there. Or the other way around. Hey, I'm having a one-to-many chat with a bunch of people, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to take this chat over to this one person, and we're going to talk about this, kind of create a mini thread kind of deal. Let's talk about this comment so that I can, respond appropriately in the one-to-many. So anyway, this is going to allow us, there's going to be a drop-down to be able to say where you can say reply and all that. You're going to be able to say forward, and then guessing, because remember the screenshots are so low quality, that it's going to show, you're going to pick who you're sending it to, and then it's going to show the message kind of in a quoted little box, and then you're going to be able to type your message above that box to say, whatever you're going to say. Hey, take a look at this. What do you think? How should we, address this or reply, whatever. You can think about in one idea that just popped in my head, like HR scenarios. Hey, someone has pinged me as an HR professional, as their representative. There's an issue, and it's kind of a weird one, and I don't know how to handle it. Forward this to my boss, and the HR director, and say, how should I handle this? I don't know what I should do in this situation. Do I need to involve someone else, or what if this is a sticky kind of situation? Things like that.
Well, I've got another good idea.
Okay.
Like another scenario for that.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel's just come up with this great idea for our new product line. Daniel, I'm going to talk to the leadership team about that and suggest that you get the right resources to make this happen. So then I forward your message and I drop it into a chat with them. And it's a good reason for it, right?
Absolutely. Or I'm thinking, what could you do? Things like you can also forward it into meeting chats. So that's an interesting one where you're having a conversation. You want to forward it into a meeting. Hey, Sally and I were just talking about this while you're in a meeting, and you can forward it into that chat. Or what if, and this is interesting, you know how you can chat with apps? What if you could create a ticket? Someone messaged you, hey, my blah, blah doesn't work, and can you come fix it? Forward into the chat with the, here, create this ticket for this person. You can reply, I've created you a ticket. And you've done that by forwarding that message to that. I don't know. There's a lot of scenarios here, people. So I feel like this is a good thing. However, I don't know if you've run into this, Daryl, or not, but I have run into this many times. People feel like their one-to-one chats and Teams are private, that they're like Signal or Telegram or some other, messaging service that is supposed to be super secret and encrypted end to end and no one can read them and, so secret, when they're not. I mean, your chats are discoverable. It's just like an email. It's not private. People can screenshot it, and I think that's what they've been doing up until now with all those scenarios we just talked about.
Yep.
They screenshot the chat and paste it. So have you run into that, Daryl, that people kind of think chat is private?
I remember the days when I was running Skype for Business training, and there were a few awkward times where I would let people know, hey, so this is a business tool, just like business email. Don't say anything inappropriate in chat. And like, what? You mean it's not private? I'm like, no, it's you can discover it. Rightly so, right? It's no. No. That just felt really awkward.
Yes.
But you're right. Yeah. But you're right. Like, I think, like, you and I, we might have one-to-one chat, and at the moment we have that expectation that, well, you can't just forward it. So it's not that I would say anything horrible or mean or whatever, but I have that expectation at the moment that this is between you and I. You cheeky man.
So, just everybody, it's not private. Your chats, it's just like email. Your company can read them, and they can be discoverable. Not private. Targeted release rolling out will occur late November. Standard release mid-January of 2024. My goodness, we're getting close to the 2024. And then GCC, the Government Cloud High, and DoD rollout will be late January and be completed by mid-February. So there you go. I hope that I'd like to hear more. Hey, can you drop it in chat or ping us on all the socials that matter at 365MCS? What are your scenarios for using this forward message? We rattled off, 4 or 5? So what are your examples of how you would use it? We'd love to hear that.
Indeed.
What I would not like to do is have a meeting with you, Daryl, so I'm going to decline the meetings that you send me. But I want to get back to, maybe the recaps of those meetings. Is there a way to do that?
You might have second thoughts, Daniel. You might regret
That's right.
that you had declined it. Daniel's referring to an interesting new feature where release of preserved declined meetings in November. Now, it's another one of those titles which you're like,
just
what?
in November. If the meeting's in December, it will not preserve it. But in November,
no. We're just testing the memory of yeah, that's vague, but just as vague as the title. If you read a little closer, it is a new feature where you'll be able to turn on the ability for your meetings that you decline to stay in your calendar. And there are a few reasons you might do this. One being this great set of new features that's coming along with being able to recap a meeting. You might want to be able to maybe just not attend that meeting, but you still want to keep track of it. And so you might be able to go back and find that. Or that scenario where, I've declined it, but I do actually want to know when that meeting's on because potentially I might change my mind and choose to attend it. So this is going to be an interesting view. It's a user level feature that you can turn on in your own settings. And then when you decline the meeting, this is actually a good message which actually steps through and shows you the flow. It's actually really good. That you decline the meeting, but the meeting it's on your calendar. It looks like a declined, like a tentative meeting, but it is declined. There's that example there. Yeah, there it is. And so you can actually just look over list of all the meetings that you do have and the times that you've taken up, but you can see, okay, that was one there that I chose not to attend, but I can go back and maybe check out the related content. Now, the thing that I have with this, and maybe this is just, it's going to be over to you for your personal preference, but I don't like anything that's too overwhelming with a whole lot of stuff, and the reason that I decline a meeting is so that I don't want to have my calendar filled with stuff that I'm not going to attend. It's full enough as it is sometimes. But I can see the point where it's that ability to go back and you're not synchronously attending the meeting, but maybe you're asynchronously attending it. And you also want to make sure that that time looks like it's free in your calendar, but you still want to keep track of it. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think there have been times when I've declined a meeting and then realized, oh, I probably should attend that meeting later on after someone talked about it. Hey, see you on Tuesday for the blah, blah meeting. You're like, no, I don't have that on my calendar. I must have declined it. You need to go because our boss is going to be there. Or, the VP is going to be there and you're going to ask for budget. You need to, so instead of having to go into my deleted items and going and finding where that message is because it got deleted when I declined, going into my calendar, it's there, just kind of in this example, it shows it as white or just outlined. Being able to just double click it and go, just kidding. Yes, I am going to attend. I think that is a real use case that people are going to use. But then also the using meeting recap. If you have Teams Premium and you've got this AI generated recap, maybe I decline a meeting because I really don't have time to attend, but I want to know what happened. I can go to the recap and go, hey, what happened? Here are the decisions that, AI says, here are the decisions. Here's the collaborative meeting notes that people took. Well, how am I going to get to that if I don't have that meeting in my calendar? So, I think that's a real use case. One thing that I thought about, though, is categorization for, if you categorize meetings, to make your calendar all colorful and everything, if you color it, is it still going to be that color of the category? Or is it going to be this outlined white, in this declined view state? Yeah. Because it could be confusing if it's colored, along with the other ones, but it's still, I don't know. That would be something I would watch out for. But does that make sense for the whole
I know what
notes
you mean.
Yeah.
I think there was one situation or a way of dealing with this before we have this feature, which you said you've come across too. People don't intend to attend the meeting, they just leave it as tentative.
Yeah.
And so that way they can keep track of it and they can go back and still access it. Now, the way that Teams meetings works now, I wonder if it's going to have to change for you to be able to participate like this afterwards, Because if you are not an attendee, if you're not part of the meeting, sometimes you are barred from participating or seeing any of the chat. Especially if you decline it, you're not going to see the chat. But the transcript on the recap, the recording, when is the right situation for us to say, well, you declined it, so no, you don't get access to these related resources. Maybe there's a situation where that isn't appropriate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know what you mean, and I'm not sure. Because you sent out a meeting invite and 5 people declined. Well, you're talking in that meeting and making decisions and all that based upon the fact that that they're not here. Now, we got to remember people can view recordings. I mean, there's ways to do this without being sneaky. So don't be going talking bad about people just because they're not in a meeting. So yeah, I ran into this where people would manage their calendar. They would leave things tentative because they wanted to know the meeting was happening. But the problem with that is that people manage their calendar differently. And if you do that in an organization, it gets very confusing. And, it was a small organization that people were doing this with, in my experience. And it was very confusing for us. Can you imagine a whole organization where, some people leave tentative, meaning I'm never attending that, but I just want it there. And other people are leaving it tentative as in I might attend if I can make room, or whatever. It's very confusing. So I like this, but you bring up some valid questions about, well, how will you get access to what I was talking about, the recap, and what kind of, does there need to be a way to make sure that people can't get to the recap if they didn't attend? Is that a valid thing? I don't know. That's an interesting topic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's like interviews or the opportunities to give feedback for something, but by choosing not to give feedback, then what is it? Like participating in something that could be like NDA. And okay, you're choosing not to be part of this meeting and therefore not part of the NDA discussion, and because of the type of the topic, you also shouldn't know about what's been discussed in there. But now you have access to it. Yeah. It's lots of thoughts. I have these lately, right, Daniel? I get myself in trouble with these deep thoughts.
Deep thoughts. And we'd like to know your thoughts. Remember, the comment section down below, or if you're listening to audio podcast, ping us at 365MCS and all the socials that matter. Let's have a conversation. Love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
Daniel, there's going to be a fancy new way of being able to present video. And I'm actually quite happy to see this. What's it about?
Well, let me tell you. This is video. Since you asked so nicely. Video inline playback on highlighted content web part. MC684222. This is, now we have the ability in the hero web part in SharePoint, right, to be able to show video and have it play inline in that experience in the hero web part. Well, now we're getting it in the highlighted content web part. So as long as you're configured it as a carousel, although some people would ask you, why would you use carousels at all? Anyway, we won't get in that conversation. Configured as carousel or film strip layout in a 1-column or 2-column section. So there's your limits. But if you're using highlighted content, and you're showing videos in that, then you'll be able to play those videos. I'm thinking this is playlists. This is like that. You have a library full of videos, and you want to show those videos powered by Stream. Or Stream powered by SharePoint. I can't remember. What is it? Stream on SharePoint? Is that how they...
Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll roll with it.
As long as you spell SharePoint correctly, you're fine.
Right. Or you'll get a backhand. So you'll be able to play those videos. However small they are, you're going to be able to play those videos in line and see. I like to do that for previewing. Is this really what I want to watch? And
that's right.
You can do things on YouTube where you can hover over a video and kind of see is this going to be interesting. I mean, people out there, they do it to our videos all the time and they go, of course this is interesting. Yeah, and then they click on it. Well, this is kind of the same thing. You're going to be able to see the video, and if you want to expand it, you can. Right? I mean, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So this is rolling out standard early November and expected to be completed by mid-November of this year. Since we're getting so close to 2024, I thought I'd mention that.
Yeah. No, it's another good feature for managing with low maintenance the content that you want to present. I think that's the benefit of it. Yeah.
Talking about low maintenance, Daryl.
Really?
I really don't know how to transition that.
Go on, try it. I'm interested. Go ahead.
Talk about low maintenance. If you really want no maintenance on your teams and you just want people to discover teams all over the place, do we have availability to do that even if they're private? Daryl?
I think it was just that last bit you managed to link it in there.
There we go.
Nice try. Private Team Discovery, MC683664. Today, if you have a private team, you need to be invited to it. It won't turn up in search. That's the only way you'll see it. Maybe that's a good thing. But this feature allows you to search for it. It's actually not as open as you think it is. And so Daniel and I were talking about a scenario where, what if the team was called like layoffs for 2024 or something like that? You know, some sensitive topic where it probably should be given a code name instead of just naming it that bluntly. But sometimes the name of a team is also just as sensitive as the content. So yeah. Those teams don't today turn up in search. Or they're not even just open and available if you go to the team gallery to discover teams you might want to join. Now private teams will appear in search, but you still have to know the name, right? You can't just go to that gallery and find sensitively named teams. So this is good to be able to discover those private teams. Maybe make it a bit easier for people to find them. Actually, Daniel, I'm in two minds about this. What value does this add? Like, if I've got a private team, I'm going to invite people that I want to be part of that private team. If it's a private team that has a lot of people that I want to be part of, but I can't be bothered typing their name, I'll give them a code to invite them.
Okay.
But
how are you going to give them a code?
To search? Well,
meaning if you're not going to be bothered to invite them, that means you're not going to just type in their name. So how are you going to give them a code? You're going to have to type in their name in chat or an email to send them the code.
Well, I'd send the code to a distribution group, a private distribution group where some other schmoes had to add the names to the group. It's not my problem. It was someone else's.
It's not my problem. Oh
yeah, I don't script. Someone else scripts. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm digging a hole here. It's a feature. I'm sure it's useful. I think the more I think about it, I don't want to discover private teams or have them discoverable. I think.
Well, Daryl, you can make that not happen.
Yeah, I'm glad about that.
Yeah.
With the compliance portal,
yeah,
I can drop a label on it and make sure it still doesn't appear in search of any kind.
Right.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, you can configure it in the Teams admin center for this to be locked down. So it's not something that is going to be that has to be open to everyone for every team, right? So you can manage this in the Team admin center with a policy. You can go and create a sensitivity label in the compliance portal so that when a particular labels are used on a team, then they are discoverable as a private team. But if they use a different label, they're not. There's a ways to manage this to make you happy, Daryl. I think they did it to make you happy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's important to me. I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this is rolling out in late October now-ish, and expect to be complete in early November for targeted release, and standard release rolling out early January. So giving you a bit of time to discover whether this was the right choice of a feature or not, so that they may not roll it out in January. Sorry,
Daryl.
This is late in the day. I'm getting too cheeky.
I think we're done with messages, but I do want to say I am going to be in Chicago this week, and I have stickers. I have limited edition stickers for the show. I have the Midnight holographic stickers. I'm holding them in my hand. Midnight holographic stickers, as well as those are limited edition, as well as the limited edition glitter, and they're kind of holographic as well. Glitter stickers. So make sure you find me. Where am I going to be? Chicago's kind of big. I'm going to be at the convention center at the 365 EduCon conference. And come see me. We're talking about all the Power Platform and M365 stuff at this conference. So come see me, and I'll give you a sticker. Would love to meet you.
The convention center, is that the lakeside one?
Sure. Mm-hmm. McCormick Place.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, indeed.
Awesome.
I'll be there. So please come see me. I'll be lonely.
But you'll have stickers with you.
I'll have stickers. And they have...
company.
Yes, I have stickers. Anyway.
Take away Daniel's friends is what we're saying. Come and take his friends with stickers away. I don't know. That's a really
people,
weak link.
We're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching and listening. How about giving us a share? Sharing it out to put it in teams in your organization. Say, hey, everybody, you should watch this show, or out on the socials. We greatly appreciate that. We'd love to have more people come in and give comments just like you, and ping us on the socials. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week for episode 309. We'll find out what area code that's for.
Oh, yeah. Daniel will tell us, I'm sure.
Yes, maybe.
Bye for now.